Afternoon, everybody. The afternoon after the night before, as they say. Big win for Arsenal last night, winning FA Cup quarter final 2-1 against Sheffield United. And our boy Danny Ceballos, he drinks Estrella, the man who got the job done for us late on in the game, and that cued one of the great jostles of all time. As we've talked about, it's definitely not the same in terms of the way that football is at the moment. Not being able to have the fans here inside the stadium is a real problem, and it's something that moving forward we want to get back to as soon as possible. But understandably, it's a situation that we hope the authorities are working on to get everybody back as soon as possible and get everybody inside the grounds. One big thing is that for anybody who's outside of England per se and surrounding areas that travels to matches, the match day experience is still pretty similar. I mean, having people around now as we can with COVID restrictions lightening up means that we can have friends over and celebrate goals and enjoy a meal before or after the game and that sort of thing, which is very exciting. But it's a big shame now that, in England and for all of our fans that are over there, especially the big supporters groups as well, Maidstone Gunners, who I'm very proud to be a part of, not being able to go and hang out with our friends and mates every single week and every single game and enjoy what comes with a matchday experience away is a real problem. But moving forward, hopefully we get something. A Wembley date awaits us, so a very, very exciting time for us. Again, no fans is going to be strange, especially in a stadium as big as Wembley. I've seen football matches in big grounds with nobody there, and it can be a bit of an issue in terms of atmosphere, but at the same time, it will be what it will be until it all lifts again. So let's talk about the draw. Manchester City is who we have on that semi-final weekend. Manchester United getting Chelsea. Was never going to be an easy one for us, however you look at it. You've got, three of the biggest football clubs in England and the world on the other side of the draw for us. So it was always going to be a very difficult opponent. One thing I haven't liked is the immediate negativity that you see already surrounding this about Manchester City, and I'm sure a lot of it is in jest as well, and a lot of it is a little bit of that bant side of things. However, moving forward, we're in a position where it's a cup semi-final after all of that, and we've got every single chance of putting ourselves in a position to get through. Of course, the last time we played Manchester City in a semi-final was a famous victory, extra time. Alexis Sanchez, when he was with us at the club at the time, scoring that winner for us, and we managed to get through that game, and that was a game that we played very well in. For the most part, Sergio Aguero got the goal for City after we played very well for the most part of that game. So it's something that I'm looking forward to, as with everything at the moment, and not to mention the games are coming thick and fast as well. So that's a very, very exciting part of this, that we've got a game coming all the time now. Norwich at home coming up on Thursday morning for us here in Australia, 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and that will be 6 p.m. kickoff over there at the Emirates Stadium. So they're coming thick and fast. There's plenty to keep us entertained and interested into, which is great. With the draw, I feel like it was a case that it didn't matter who we got. It's going to be a tough game regardless, but whether it was Man United, Chelsea or Manchester City, regardless of who that opponent is, we're going to have to turn up on the day and put in a performance. But we can't disagree with the fact that things have been a lot more positive in the last couple of games. We had a good win midweek last week against Southampton, I thought, who are a pretty good side. They've come good under Ralph Hasenhüttl, and they're looking really, really good over there. So it's a situation for us where we got a good away victory against a good team, and then moving forward, it was also a very good victory on the weekend against Sheffield United. Bramall Lane, a place that we've very rarely won. My good friend Frank Stubbs telling me that 1991 was a victory that he remembers there, and that was back a long time ago, of course. I mean, I was just a very, very young tacker at that time. So, big win for us. We haven't been playing the best football, but we have to be positive, and the buzz was there after the game. That was one thing that was so exciting, was that everybody was really, really excited after the game, talking to fans worldwide. It was a big jostle, a big celebration, and something that we can look forward to. That we're on a 2-game win streak now, and I've talked about the fact that it was a difficult start to everything again, but But hey, we're back again now, and let's see if we can make that 3 in a row against Norwich. The fixture list becomes a little bit harder after that, and there will also be another rearranged game now, with the fact that the semi-finals coming up in a few weeks' time. They'll need to rearrange that with another game that we have that's not even arranged yet come the end of the season. So we'll probably, if they squeeze it into the season as it stands at the moment, then we're going to have, some 2-day turnarounds, or it'll just be an extra week on the end of the season for us. So busy period, of course, as we look ahead. So overall, there's no positive or negative, I don't think, with the draw. If there was a case, obviously, that Norwich managed to get past Man United, or Newcastle managed to turn up and get a result against Manchester City, then I think you would have been hoping for a different result. But once it was pretty firm that it was going to be one of these big 6 clubs that are going to be our opponent when it comes to this semi-final draw, there's no looking away from the fact that it was going to be a tough game. I feel like all those teams have played better than us. For most of the season, Manchester City definitely. Chelsea have been good under Frank Lampard so far this season. For a first season, I thought they might struggle, and they've had their transfer bans and issues that have surrounded them in recent times, but they've come out of this really, really well, if you ask me, and if everything's to be believed. I know you need to wait for signings to be permanent, but if everything's for sure with Timo Werner and Ziyech from Ajax, then they're going to be in a very, very good situation. So let's see how Chelsea end up as the season progresses onwards. But for us, a big game regardless. Man United have come good as well, especially in the last 3 months, inverted commas, of the season, from after Christmas, and looking like from when Bruno Fernandes turned up at the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks like he's turned that around. They haven't lost a game for a long time, and they're playing some really good football. They're progressing quite well in the Europa League as well. So let's see how we go. It's a big game that will be coming up in a few weeks' time. But in the meantime, let's look ahead to Norwich. We'll do a match preview of that game in a couple of days. And overall, it's a happy day to be a Goon. As gloomy as it is here in the middle of winter in Oz, that's been one big issue for us, is how cold it's been. It's definitely never been this cold getting up in the night to watch football, but that's all good. It's hopefully an anomaly this season. It'll be over before we know it, and we can look forward to progressing things on soon enough.